Hi, it's Elizabeth Stephenson with New Direction Family Law. Now I've got Angela Kelley here with me this morning, and we're here, I'm so excited because it's Valentine's Day tomorrow, and she is with A Introductions, and she is truly a matchmaker. And so I wanted to talk today and share some information with you folks on if you've gone through a separation or a divorce and you're ready to put yourself back out there. It can be really scary. And so Angela's here today to share some tips, tell you about what you can do, things to stay away from, all of that kind of stuff. So Angela, give us a little bit about your background and how you got into A Introductions.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to meet you, and I appreciate all the work that you've done and welcoming me here. So I started a matchmaking service a few years ago. Basically, it's a traditional, it's an offline, traditional, personalized matchmaking service. So It's a little bit different for some of the things that you see out there that are prevalent in the dating world at this point.
Right.
Everyone's aware of all the online things.
Right.
Like I like to say, it's not going away. It's
not.
Still there.
Right.
But I'm not really in competition with them.
Okay.
I am doing it the old-fashioned way that it's been done forever. So
tell me what is a matchmaker? What does that mean in the old-fashioned way?
In the old-fashioned way, you probably remember your mom or your grandmother or maybe an older lady at church would see you when you turned about 30 or maybe 25 and you're like, oh, she should be married. And they introduce you to your next-door neighbor's cousin. It's a similar idea. So I'm just taking really good women and really good men and matching them up. So it's we're not doing it online. There aren't pictures flashing around on the internet view and that type of thing. There's no computer. It's me sitting down, getting to know you as a person, figuring out what you are looking for and what you need in your life, and trying to help you find that person.
And so, what do you look for to match folks up together?
Mm-hmm. So online, of course, there are a lot of algorithms that the computers will look through, and I don't use one of those systems. Basically, it's based on your personality traits. You should have someone that complements your personality. Right. Your value system, that is a really big important factor, because if your values match up with someone, long term you're going to have a better chance of success. Right. And also I look at your preferences. So whether you like someone tall or thick or really petite, whatever your options are in that respect. And I think in the age of online dating right now, there's that cafeteria mentality where people are looking online and they're like swiping left or swiping right, exactly, based on, oh, well, she's got pretty green eyes or really long hair. And that there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has a preference, and I definitely take that into account because you can't get away from it. Right. But at the same time, you can't base your long-term success on whether or not that person looks a particular way.
And so do you have to counsel clients sometimes on that here's a great guy, he's really a good match for you, why don't you go out and try it maybe? Absolutely.
So I encourage people to focus on those inner qualities. And again, I can't disregard the preference idea. But if there's someone that matches up with your personality and your value system, if you have a good interaction with them, over time, especially for women, you start to grow fonder of that person. Right. So after the second date, there's more of a connection. So if you can make it through that second date, there's a good chance that you'll start to see that person in a more favorable light. So even if he's not 6'2", if he's 5'8", but he's treating you really well, and he's all those little bells are clicking in your head. The next thing you know, you're thinking, oh my goodness, he is the greatest thing ever.
Oh, that's great.
It happens constantly.
So if somebody connects with you, what's the process to go through your system to get introduced to someone?
Okay, so I start off, I meet every member personally. We sit down, we have a pretty thorough conversation, interview. It's complimentary because I like to get to know people and just kind of have a better feel of who they are. Right. A lot of matchmaking comes from intuition, and I really like the idea of knowing everyone that I work with. I keep my service relatively small for that purpose because I want to know that I'm introducing people that I feel comfortable about. Right. So we sit, we talk about your likes, your dislikes, your history. We get a little bit into what your goals are for the future, the kind of person that will be in your life and what their role is going to be, whether you're looking for something long-term, something casual. Right. My members tend to be looking for relationships. relationships.
I would think so.
Right.
Yeah.
And I kind of work towards that. And after that first meeting, if you decide to sign on, I do a thorough background check.
Oh, good.
And
Nice.
I do that for all the members just because you have to be sure that people are 100% who they say that they are, and that they're representing themselves properly.
Right.
And after that, I take on clients, and I also have a database of members.
Okay.
So with my database of members, as my clients come along, if there's someone in that database that matches what they're looking for, then I'll introduce them.
Okay.
They get the priority, of course. If there's someone that I take on as a client and I don't have that person or that type of match in my database currently, then I do a search for that person out in the community.
Oh, so how do you do that search?
That's interesting. And it's interesting. Most of it is networking. So I have a small group of people that I first start off with that know a lot of people. They recommend people. Most of it is word of mouth. So you may
I think that's the best way to find somebody.
It really is. If you look back traditionally, up until probably about 10, 15 years ago, that was the way most people met someone. They met through another connection that they had. So it might be someone in your church group, or it might be someone at your job, or in your neighborhood, or a relative of theirs. And those are the people that you would go to because they know you. They know what you're like. They know your ins and your outs, your flaws and your positives. And they'd be more likely to introduce you to someone that you'd be compatible with. You have something in common and that type of thing. So you might be at a cocktail party and, you mention that you're single, you're ready to date again, and someone overhears that and they're like, oh, I want you to meet John. And it goes from there. So that's the first way that I start out. I also work with a group of different matchmakers around the country, but I focus my business on locals. Because
so are you tied into, is there like a matchmaking national sort of organization?
There are a few different organizations. I'm not officially linked to any of those. My business is private, and so, but I do have contacts with some of those people. So if there's someone that's particularly challenging, I might send out a little here's someone that I know, does anyone have any suggestions? But because the traditional matchmakers are smaller in number, we're outnumbered by the dating sites, it's a little bit different. So, but then, again, I'll start off with my little networks of people that I know. And again, I may be out at the grocery store and run into someone, and I think I naturally kind of get into conversations with people, and they ask what I do, so I mention it, and they're like, oh, yeah, my sister's single. Exactly. And they pass my card around, and it does take time, don't get me wrong, it's a process, it takes time, but people tend to, when they find out about it, they're curious, because it's not something you run across often. So, they kind of gravitate towards me once they know.
It's just fascinating. So is there so you match them, and then you share with each of them about the other person, and then it's up to them if they want to go out?
Well, exactly. So what I do is, for example, if it were you, I'd say, I met a really nice guy. He's in my service now. He's someone I think you'd be interested in meeting. I give the first name. Okay. I don't share any personal information beyond that. I explain to you what qualities I see in that person and why I think they'd be a good match for you. And then if you agree, then we'll set up a time for the two of you to meet. Okay. Because it's a private thing, privacy is a really big concern for me. I don't want that person to have your phone number and your email and your address and all of that. So we'll set up a time that you two, based on your likes and dislikes. Both of you like to play golf, so we may set up a date for you guys to meet up at a golf course. Okay. You play golf. At the end of the date, if you feel comfortable, you want to share some information about yourself with that person, you're welcome to, because that would be almost as if you had met them organically. But if you don't, then it falls back on me. So at the end of the day, you say, thank you so much for a lovely time. You go on about your day, they go about their day. The most important part is the feedback. So after the date, I contact you and I contact the person you went out with, and I get your thoughts. So that way you can tell me what you like, what you didn't like. Oh, he was the greatest person ever, or oh, he was 2 hours late. Something to that effect. It wouldn't be 2 hours, but whatever your feedback is, I take all that into account. Some of it I will share with the person depending on what it is, and it also helps to fine tune the process. What they're looking for. Exactly. So that way, next time I'll know. Well, she doesn't want someone who is so quiet, or she doesn't like someone who chews gum all the time, something to that effect.
So then you also get the fun job of going, well, there won't be a second date. Is that right? So it sort of takes the pressure off the other. That's good, too, because it takes the pressure off the person that
makes
doesn't
it
want to
less
do
awkward.
that.
Exactly. Because, and I can honestly say, all the people I work with are very nice people.
I'm sure.
I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Right.
But I look at it this way. I don't want to waste their time.
Right.
I don't want you to feel like you've wasted your time. I do encourage people to go out on at least 2 dates. Just because a lot of times on the first date, you could be nervous. Or you might have just had a bad day at work. Or you're just not 100% yourself. By the time you go on the second date, all the preliminary jitters are usually gone. And if you like the person enough on the first date, then you're a little bit more relaxed, a little more comfortable, and you get a better sense of that person. So if it doesn't go well, it's okay. You just use it as an opportunity
no harm.
to learn. Exactly. You had a good experience. You got out. You did something you might not have done otherwise. So
do you help? You know, if you've been married and you're separated or divorced and you haven't went out on a date in a long time. You know, do you help folks with how to dress, update their look, that kind of thing?
I do. One of the packages that I offer includes all of my packages include date coaching because I think it's important, especially for people who've been out of the dating scene for a while. I offer, and I'm not a stylist.
Well, but I never know.
I have connections with some personal stylists that will help, get you in shape or not in shape, but get your wardrobe together. If you need a trainer, I know some trainers in the area that can get you back on track with that whole exercise regimen, which I encourage people to do because then you feel better.
That's right. Exactly.
And that's important. Exactly. I also have a couple of actors that I work with locally that will do mock date preparation for you.
Are you kidding me? I love that.
I do, and it helps to build your confidence. So that way, if you've been off the dating scene for a while, you're not sure what to do, you at least have had a little practice. So, and then that person, the actor, will give me their feedback as well, and I observe the date, just so I can kind of get an idea, and I can tell you, some things that you may want to do differently, what you're doing well. I also try to encourage people ahead of time, to brush up on some things to read about so that they have conversation.
Like current events.
Exactly. Some things to stray away from, and what to focus in on. And it seems to help people a lot.
Well, I had no idea that you did all that. I mean, that's so different than here. Let me click a button and see who pops up, and you don't know who you're going to meet. And it's really almost, to me, it's especially if you're a woman, it's almost a safety issue to know that the person's been vetted by you, someone that I trust. That made me feel a whole lot better.
So each of my members signs a code of conduct because I think that's really important, and it just gives some basic rules. And it's nothing. It's not rocket science, but it's talking about respect for each other and just being a decent person. And you shouldn't have to tell people that, but at least this way you know that they've been told. They can't say they weren't told. And that way you're going to have a better overall experience.
Right. That's great. So I know there's not any cut and dry, but is there, what's the average lifespan of what as long as people are involved with you?
So I sign contracts for a year.
Okay.
In the perfect world, no one would need me for a year. But realistically, I think it takes about that long for people to get in and get comfortable. Because it's just me, I don't have a big conglomerate behind me. It's flexible. So if someone comes in and they find someone in the second or third month, that's great. We can make some adjustments to it. After about a year, something could be that, maybe you're really not truly ready for dating, or, there different life circumstances come up. So if we need to extend it, we could. And it's kind of case by case. But on average, most of my members are in for maybe about a year.
Well, that's okay. So can you, do you have a money-back guarantee?
I don't. And I wish that I could, but I'm flexible.
But you can't. But people come to you expecting you to find the love of their life. You can't do that.
I can't promise that, and I can't wave a wand and I wish that I could. I would do it every day, every week, but I can't. So because we're dealing with people and human emotions, I can predict, and on paper it may be a hit. Everything might hit all the boxes. The chemistry I can't predict.
I know
there are a lot of different factors to that. Exactly.
Right.
So I don't promise anybody. I can tell you up front that I will do my best, and if I cannot help you, I know that up front. I won't take you in because I know there are a couple of people I've had to turn away because they weren't in the right place for it.
To start dating.
Exactly.
So how do folks get in touch with you, and what do they need to to know or bring or have ready when they meet with you?
You don't really need to do much.
Okay.
My whole thing is it should be simple. It should be fun. Let me do the
That's
work.
good.
And I really appreciate, people coming in. The only thing I do ask before they meet with me is to kind of have an idea of what it is that you want. If you really are seriously thinking you want a relationship.
Right.
And I like to distinguish myself. It's not like the place to go for, just a little random date. It's more of a relationship type of
Well, it seems like if you're going to invest that much time and that much, energy into that, you do want a long relationship, I would think. And
I work with people typically 35 and older that live in the Triangle area. Okay. They can contact me on my website, which is www.A+Introductions. So it's A+Plus Introductions.com.
Okay.
And you can reach me on Facebook. I have a Facebook page.
Okay.
Again, I have a website primarily for informational purposes, just people that they can know that I exist.
Right.
My phone number is 919-670-8259, and you could always reach me like that. So we start off with that introductory meeting, and we just kind of go from there. I'll send out a short email questionnaire just to get some basics for our meeting starting point. But other than that, they don't really need to bring me.
And then you just meet where it's convenient for the person? Okay.
I can go to you. I don't keep a traditional office, but I'll just kind of go wherever we need to meet up, as long as it's relatively quiet.
Okay. And so would I get to see a picture of my proposed?
No, and that is where the trust issue comes from, and I understand 100%. But again, because of the I know what you're saying. I know why you're saying it's a privacy thing, and honestly, I don't think people are just their profile and their picture. I mean, I don't think you should, and I think that's where we're headed now. People are judging people based on that snapshot in their life, and you are so much more than that. So,
I think that's great. I think it's great.
I get it, but trust me, I don't have anyone that I would consider to be ugly. And I'll tell you up front, she's tall, she's short, she's chubby, she's thin. Right. And if that's something that you're against, then that's fine. But you have to trust me that. Yeah, well, I think if they've gotten that far along with you, that they do trust you. You sort of put your heart in your hands. Exactly. And my goal is to make everybody happy. That's my goal. That's good. That's what I like to do. So do people come with you right out of separation and divorce? And can you say sometimes maybe you're not quite ready for this yet? I do. And I should clarify, I don't work with people that are separated.
Okay.
That's good to know. Right. Because honestly, when you're in your separation phase, I think you should focus on ending that experience. Right. Just in fairness to my clients, I want you to be completely available because the people I'm working with are looking to go into a true relationship. Right. If you're still legally kind of wrapped into your marriage, then it makes it a little bit messier. Okay. So, but yes, I do have people who've come that are recently divorced. I've had some widows. I've had people who've never been married, which is the group of people that I'm dealing with. Right. I enjoy working with. I can say. Once people are actually divorced, sometimes there's a little trepidation. They're not sure they're ready. Right. But we talk a lot about that and kind of give them some tools for assessing whether or not they're ready to jump back in. And I think it's helpful. And I know sometimes people are just nervous because they might have just gone through a bad experience. Right. Maybe they're like, I haven't dated in 20 years and things have changed a lot. And so it's not just, with the online realm, but people's attitudes have changed a lot, and I mean, there's all this research out there now that's talking about social trends and how marriage it's not valued as much, and people aren't marrying as much. Right. So that's something to think about. We talk a little bit about that too. Well, it seems like what I love about you is it's not about getting people in the door. I mean, I think you really care about what they want and what they need and how you can help them. And if you feel like you can't, then you let them know that. And I think that's wonderful. I really, really enjoy the work. I really like to talk to people, and I want to feel like I'm helping them. So my goal is to do that. It's, one of those things, if you can't sleep at night, but you got, 100 million clients, that's a different story. And I want to feel like I'm really helping them to get what they are looking for. Right, and that's why you and I, I think we connect so well is because we feel the same way, that we really do believe that we want to surround people with people who have the same attitude and care for their clients that we do. And so I know that when people are going through this and get through it, but I want to see them move on and have a new life and a better life. Fresh. Yeah, exactly. So someone like you can be a great
benefit for them. Even doing the styling and the fashion, that can help them in their job and their way they feel about themselves and how they parent their kids and all of that. So it really is sort of a circular thing.
It's kind of fun, but I was telling a person I met with last night that sometimes what happens is you get yourself ready, you meet with me, and we, are in this process, but you may meet someone organically.
Right.
And the idea, or I think the reason is you're open.
I think so too.
You broaden your horizons, you're paying closer attention, you're more focused on, meeting people, and you're more outgoing, and you put all the past behind you. And so suddenly you're getting more attention.
Right.
And the next thing you know, you don't really need a matchmaker. And I hate to say that. You do need me, but at the same time, your exposure, broadens, and the next thing you know, you're getting what you look for.
Exactly. What you look for comes back to you.
Exactly. It's cool.
Well, thank you for being with me today. And it's just fascinating, I think. And so I think you can bring so much to people's lives and help them have, the future they want and they deserve. So I'm so happy to have you with us here today.
Can I ask you a very quick question? Because it was something that popped up when I was preparing for this. And I know you handle the legal aspects with separations and all. So if someone is separated or, they're in the process of divorce, maybe just recently divorced, and they are going to meet someone and let's say they have children.
Right.
Legally, is there some kind of boundary that they have to adhere to when they're meeting the person in terms of the children?
Like a new significant other or something?
Is there anything legally they have to be aware of or careful about in introducing that person?
Well, there is. Some folks sometimes put into a consent order or into a separation agreement, you can't introduce someone to the children unless you've been in a long-term, significant, exclusive relationship.
Okay.
So that way there's some legal boundaries. If you're in the middle of, you can be divorced, and still be working on some issues about dividing the property or, alimony and fixed claims are pending. So a lot of times I say to people, it's perfectly okay for you to date, but you might want to think how that's going to react on the other side and how it's going to help you come to terms and get an agreement. If the other party knows that you've started dating, that might not help the process. So nothing legally wrong with it, but sometimes you just sort of have to look at the broader picture and say, is this really helpful for where I am at the moment? Yeah.
For what your goals are.
Yeah, so it's just like you just sort of have to look at the big picture and see what's happening. So tell our folks again how they can get in touch with you, your website, and your phone number.
Okay. So I'm Angela Kelley. I'm a personal matchmaker. And my phone number is 919-670-8259, or you can reach me on my website, which is www.A+Introductions, which is A+Plus Introductions.com, or you can reach me on Facebook, and feel free to like my page. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day.
That's
There might be a little bit of a special I'm working on. So if you are in that market and you're thinking, it's time for me to make some changes, I really encourage people to reach out. And there's no charge to contact me. We'll meet up, we'll talk, we'll see if it's something I can help you with, and if so, we'll move forward.
That sounds great. Angela, thank you for joining me
today.
Thank
you so much. It's been so nice to meet you.
Good. And we'll see you next time, guys, on our Facebook Live.
Thanks again.
Bye.